Thank you for joining me today. This is a little project that I'm doing for my ex-husband. He's leaving here to move to Italy in the next couple of months and he wanted to take it with him. It's quite cute and it's a small project, so let's get on with it. I'm going to unscrew these and take it apart. Let's pull this to pieces. Okay, that is not meant to be stuck in there at all. I think they must have glued it in as well. That's a bit weird. I don't understand. That is really, really strange. It's got nails or something in it. Oh my. I'm going to have to think of a different way of putting all of this back in by the looks of it. The thing about this job, I'm always learning something new. What I was expecting to find is that this would have dropped down into here. That is a little bit weird, but that's okay. We've had weird before. I'll take these out. At least it wasn't glued. That's what I was worried about, that it was glued in. What I've decided to do is cut the cover off as close to the board as I can, because I think it would be awkward to pull all of this off. Also looked along here, there are little nail holes in the top fabric here where they've nailed it through, so I haven't decided how I'm going to do this just yet. What's under here is compressed Dacron. I'm going to find a piece of foam to put under here. When it was new there was a bit more bounce to it, but now that it's used it goes all the way down to the board, which I don't want. I found some 1-inch foam. I've already marked it. I'm just going to cut that across. I wanted it a little bit higher but firmer, and I had an old blanket, just several layers, and the foam will go on top. It should hold. I don't think it's going to be that bad. It also brings it up more or less to the level I want it. I might just put a couple more layers of that on. It acts like cotton wadding, so it's not going to give. It's just going to compress a little bit more and then that's it. So this is the original cover. I think it's just a case of undoing all 4 sides and taking the piping out, because it's all one piece. As I need to get the pattern from here. I've just ironed this out. It's a leftover piece from something many years ago. I think what I'm going to do is stretch the top cover out. And that makes 22 by, I'm going to stretch that one out as well, 16. I think 22 by 16 is going to be a little bit too big. I'm going to cut that back here so it's a nice neat edge, and I'm going to make it 15 wide by 21, and I think I have plenty of room because the old cover will have stretched, which is absolutely normal, and then I'm using slightly different material, so it should come down just a little bit, but I'll get that cut out first. I can afford to lose a little bit because I'm not putting the piping back in. I look at the way this is worn and I don't want that going on here, so I'm going to cut up and across, and I'm going to do the same. I'm going to use the same one for each corner because I know that the fabric has stretched. I can sew these in, and if they're incorrect I can alter them. I think that will work. I've actually advised him to put a towel over it when he's using it and just remove the towel so he can wash it, and then the footstool should stay really pretty for a number of years to come. Fold the corners in like that, starting at the top, line it up with your 1/2 inch mark, forward and back, forward again to the end, and then when you get there, back and then forward and finish off. I'm going to make my way around all the corners and see what I think. If I need to take it in a little bit more I will. This is just a starting point. After all, you can remove stitches quite well. I'm just going to pull it on and see what I think to start off with. I might need to put a little bit more filler in, but it was a really soft top anyway prior to me doing this. I'm thinking that where those corners are is just about right. They're a bit narrow there. That's okay. I think that's perfect. It was very difficult to get the idea off the original because the original was in such bad repair. But I think that's fine. I have kind of played around with this. I've cut this back about 1/2 inch from the outside edge. I'm going to bring this down on top, and that provides a hard core, and then I've got 2 1-inch pieces of soft foam on top. So it should be nice and soft but have a firmness. I'm going to reuse this piece of wood because it is slightly curved and it will go in better than a thicker one because of the shaping of the footstool. I don't want to put staples in because it's quite thin there. I'm just going to go along here to there. Pull this over about an inch, I think. Not the way I like doing things. Maybe I'm going to have to put a couple of staples in just to hold it until it's glued in place. So okay, this side I can fold everything over. Maybe it's going to work. I've never done an upholstery project this way before, so this is a first for me. Hoping it will work. Try to make it as even as I can on that edge. There we go. Let that dry. I don't know what kind of glue they would have used, so I'm a little bit out on this as to what to put on. I think if that works, and it looks more or less even, it's a little bit wonky, but I'm sure it'll be fine. I'll let that dry and then I'll work on the other side. It's not quite gone in. I can get back to that when I'm doing the sides here. This took a little bit of gluing, obviously. I've taken it over about an inch on either side. I've folded this in. It's kind of glued onto itself rather than all the way through on the corners. It's not as tight as I would like it to be. I'm just trying to massage it to have a little bit more of a crisp corner, but I think that looks better on that side as I look at it from here. Usually I would go either side and then pull it in, but because I had to do it this way, didn't do it quite the way I would normally set it. Maybe I should let that dry off a little bit more. I think it would do. It's nice and firm compared to what he gave me. I did try changing the base, but I couldn't get the new base to take on the shape. Upholstery is sometimes thinking on your feet. If one thing doesn't work, something else might do. So I'll see how that fits on in a minute when the glue is a little bit dry. I've centered this and I need to push this down. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple of staples on either side just to hold it in place, because I don't think I can get the screws in if it's not held. I'm thinking that's what they must have done. And on the other side too. Although I have kind of secured that, I'm going to push it into place with my hand like that, only because I don't think it's going to hold very well. And I'm hoping that goes through everything that I need to go through like that. I am a little bit cautious. I'm going to undo this one because I know that it was through the top, and then I'll screw it into place. Hopefully that's caught it down. I'll do the same on this side as well. Take it out slightly and then screw it back in. Push it into place and screw it. Now I am a little bit concerned about how stable this is. I'm going to use these. These are really long. I'm really not sure how that's going to work. So I'll find the center here. So what I've done is I measured the center, put one in there, and then I'm measuring out an inch from the outside edge to where I want the next one to be put in, which is about there. Put that where I want it, just over a quarter of an inch in from this outside edge, and then hammer it in. Because I'm not putting a border on, I'm just going to push all the fabric and filling it out of the way so I can get it in without any obstruction. These things twist as you put them in, so again, measure the outside there to where I want it there, put the tack in, move everything over. I'll take that one out, might need a shorter one, so I'll put that in. I personally don't think it looks too bad, and I'll start putting them on this way, which is, again, from the outside edge to there is an inch. Line that up like that and lock it in. I'm not sure what it is I'm hitting in here. Some of them go in real well and others won't, so I'll pull that one out and start again. Take this out because I don't need this anymore, and I'll measure up. When I've done the long sides, I'm going to do the ends the same way, starting in the middle, moving out, and then I will work out how to put these corners in. I might have to fold them slightly and just catch them in as well, but I'll see what they look like when I get there. I'm actually quite pleased the way this turned out with the tacks on there. I managed to square off the corners here a little bit better, and although my ex-husband has seen it, he doesn't like the tacks on there, but once I explained that I could either nail it but I might ruin the fabric, he agreed that that was probably the best thing to do. And as he agreed,
it's still a footstool. I think it's turned out okay.
Thank you for joining me on this project. It didn't take too long once I'd worked out that the board that I wanted to put on wouldn't work, mainly because it's got 2 layers, thin board at the base of here and another one at the top, so there's a cavity there, which meant that the screws were going to pull through the base in order to pull the top down. But I think this has turned out okay. If you'd like to hear more from me, please subscribe, hit the bell button, and a few thumbs up would be brilliant. And in the meantime, take care. See you later. Ciao.